Too paranoid for threats. Hey, let's get it, bro. DOT, the money, power, respect.
The last one is better. Okay, let's get it. Let's get it, bro. Okay, let's get it, bro. Welcome to the first installment of the Know-It-Alls channel. This is Lord of Lips here coming to you. On the Know-It-Alls channel, please hit the like, subscribe, share button. We have a lot of topics to discuss here today. We're going to condense it. We have a jam-packed show here. We're going to cover the rap beef. We got some R&B beef. We got some news from the Middle East. We got deals being discussed, AI, and then we got NBA playoffs. So to kick it off, we are just going to go ahead and start with probably the biggest thing going on. Well, I'm not going to say the biggest thing going on, but the most buzzworthy thing going on right now in the culture, and that is the rap beef going on. It is starting with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. There's also Metro Boomin and Future that have been involved and kind of kicked this off with the We Don't Trust You album, and then We Still Don't Trust You album, which was the second installment of that series. It is number one right now on Billboard, selling 127,000 copies this past week. So they have two back-to-back number one albums, We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You. On We Don't Trust You, the first installment, we get the record Like That, featuring Kendrick Lamar. Surprise feature, uncredited, and he has some say a scathing verse. That song is still number one right here, and he kicks off everything that we're getting ready to discuss here. In this song, he says, fuck the big three, it's just big him, and he's making threats, and it's up, he's snatching chains and burning tattoos. So then let's fast forward. Drake, well, let's slow it down here. J. Cole, who was on an absolute tear, rapping. He was killing verses for the last 5 years, and many people consider him to be the best rapper in the game. J. Cole had something to say about it because Kendrick called him out in the verse as well, and J. Cole ended up releasing a surprise mixtape kind of album on DSPs on Spotify, and it was called Might Delete Later. He has an installment of these verses that he does called Might Delete Later, part 1, part 2, and then for part 3 he gave us the whole album, Might Delete Later. And on Might Delete Later, and at some point I want to touch on this whole body of work because there is some incredible verses in this Might Delete Later series. But the one that caught a lot of attention is the last song, 7 Minute Drill. This is where he takes aim at Kendrick Lamar. He attacks Kendrick Lamar's body of work. He attacks Kendrick Lamar's persona, and so forth. So that was J. Cole's response to the Kendrick Lamar's verse. And a few days later at Dreamfest, the festival in Dreamville that J. Cole hosts and runs, he got on stage and decided to commit rap suicide. Essentially, he apologized for the verse and said that he was going to take it off of streaming platforms and that he necessarily didn't believe a lot of the things that he was stating. So for that, a lot of people got on J. Cole. It was really unprecedented what he did as a rapper, especially to be in the bag that he was in. He was in an element where he was reaching upper echelon rap tier. So for him to get on stage, he had a lot of comments as far as it just didn't feel right. It didn't sit right with his spirit. He couldn't sleep, this and that. So he did what he felt best in his spirit, which was to take it down and to apologize about the diss. I thought it was absolutely crazy. I know many of his fans thought it was crazy, and many of the rap community and just people in the culture think it's still crazy today. There's rappers like Jadakiss and Cameron and 50 Cent. Everybody chimed in about this, saying their own 2 cents and where J. Cole was at. And we get it from a standpoint where if he really didn't feel like engaging, then we understand that. However, when you do what J. Cole has done the last 5 years, which is body a lot of verses and a lot of people on verses. But not only that, he's made it clear that that was his intentions. And during these verses, he's proclaimed time and time again that he's the best rapper alive and nobody can mess with him. So, at the first sign of smoke, it seems like he tucked his tail and ran. So a lot of people take issue with that, me being one of them. However, what I truly believe and what a lot of people speculate is that J. Cole had received information. I don't know from whose camp, either Kendrick's camp or Drake's camp, but I'm pretty sure he's received information, and one of those camps told him to get out the way. That this beef has nothing to do with him. That song had nothing to do with him, and TDE and OVO, TDE being Kendrick's former label, but still close associates, and OVO being Drake's label. One of those camps reached out to J. Cole and said, "Get out the way. It's not rap beef. It's not just rap beef. It's about to get personal and disrespectful." So that bleeds me into my second point. My second point is regarding these two, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. They've been at the top of the food chain for the better part of a decade now. And during this decade, they've gone back and forth, as far as sneak disses and certain little lines. And this stems all the way back. I don't have the time to kind of narrate that history. I will at a later point, but this stems far, far back. And I see a lot of videos and a lot of people kind of talking about their beef. And I think people are even missing really the antithesis of their beef. This stems back far, far, far. So they've been sending shots back and forth. I think it's very interesting right now. Marcellus Wiley, a few years back, said that there was a ESPN when him and I think Max Kellerman was on Sports Nation. They did an interview, and he never disclosed who was who, but he said that there was an interview that was getting ready to come out, and one of the parties was very disrespectful to the other camp or the other party, and that interview got pulled and shelved by that person's team because they said, no, we cannot let that get out. Well, fast forward, just I think yesterday or so, Marcellus Wiley was on Vlad TV where he makes mention, he finally lets out the information because, hell, we're here now. Ain't no need to hide in nobody's hand. We're all here now. It's all out in the public. Everybody knows they're beefing. So Marcellus Wiley says that it was actually Drake. And Drake went up there and went in on Kendrick and his team and said he's not to be compared to them and called them names and stuff like that. And this was in LA. So after that interview was shot, Drake's team reached out to Sports Nation and their higher up people and said, do not air that interview, and we do not want that aired. And they went back and forth on, because that's a groundbreaking interview. If you're Sports Nation, you're getting an exclusive for something that it really don't have nothing to do with sports, but to get that on your platform would have been huge, especially during the time. This is back in 2015, 2014. So Drake and his team apparently told the Sports Nation's producers and stuff that Drake would not host the ESPYs, which was coming up soon after that in Los Angeles. He would not host the ESPYs if this interview aired, which I think that was an astute business decision by Drake and his team, because if that interview gets out, that really expedites this beef, and it could get nasty, especially in LA. So I get it from that standpoint. I wish the interview came out, and I'm sure in the midst of all what we're seeing today, that interview is going to come out. I'm pretty sure about it. I'll be interested to see how this comes out. So so that's that part of it. Like I said, J. Cole apologizes for his verse or his song, 7 Minute Drill. Drake does not apologize. Drake 2 weeks ago drops, first, and I have a problem with this. First, this record called Push Ups get leaked. It gets leaked by his team. They claim that he has a mole in the camp. and they give the song out to everybody, a lot of people, and they wanted to see who leaked it so they could spot the mole. Granted, I get that. That's a smart, shrewd assessment. But a lot of people feel, me included, that he leaked the record. They leaked the record to get a feel. It's kind of like a cheat code. If you leak that record with not the CDQ quality, not high resolution, not high quality, it sounded very unfinished. If you leak that record, you can test the water on how people are feeling about the record before you officially release it. If the people are like, "What the fuck is this?" then you just blame it on, it got leaked. This ain't really real. And I'm gonna touch on some other points about AI and stuff like that. But with the leaked record thing, you can pull back. You can pull back essentially and say that it's not real or it's not finished. That was not supposed to come out. However, the record gets leaked. It's met with a lukewarm reception. People warm up to it, and then the official record finally comes out. Not on DSPs. It just comes out through DJ Academic's page. DJ Academics gets the exclusive. He premieres the record. Shortly after that, Rick Ross then jumps in, who is involved. He's on the Metro Boomin and Future project, and he's throwing shots at Drake as well. So, I mean, it's this whole big rap civil war, and it looks like everybody's against Drake. So Rick Ross sends a record back, and in that record, he goes at Drake and calls him white boy and all types of names. He's trying to take that angle that Drake is a foreigner in hip hop, and that Wayne made him and he owes Wayne money. So this is the angle Ross takes, and I'm just trying to set up a timeline so we kind of get to where we're going. So fast forward, they go back and forth for the following week on Instagram through Instagram captions. Not my kind of sort of thing, but they go back and forth. It's really entertaining. It was really funny, but it was a lot of rich people problems. They're talking about mansions and projects and houses and jets and cars and who got bigger this and who got more money. So that's all above me, all above my pay grade, way out of my realm. So then Drake this past weekend drops another record called Tailor Made. He's tried the back-to-back method against Kendrick Lamar. He drops another record called Tailor Made where he is going at Kendrick and Kendrick's inability to come outside and come up with something fast. Unique angle. I wouldn't say unique angle, but I could see that angle being played. That's probably his best angle to be played. In fact, I think on my previous video, I said I wouldn't be shocked if he dropped a third diss because he's trying to force Kendrick's hand. So right now, if you look at it like, if Drake and his camp feel, because it's reported and rumored that Kendrick has had his diss ready for years. 4-year-old record was what was reported. And I mean, as a Kendrick fan, I could tell you guys, I could have told you guys 5 years ago he had a record for Drake. So I don't think this is a matter of Kendrick needing to go back to the drawing board or he can't come up with something or he's scared. I think he knows. So if this is chess, Drake made the first move and Kendrick is trying to angle himself because he knows if Drake, who is a very shrewd operator with a lot of backing, if Drake made these aggressive moves, he has moves C and D planned out as well. So Drake's angle is to get Kendrick to come outside as soon as he can. That if this is a fighting style, he wants Kendrick to throw his jab, or he wants Kendrick to show his hand. He wants Kendrick to throw his uppercut. And Kendrick's angle is he's waiting for the perfect time. Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Ali was known for that as well. He would let somebody wear themselves out with his back against the ropes, and he would just let you wear yourself out, and then he would come at you with fury while you already tired yourself out and you emptied your chamber. So this is that kind of battle here. I think that, a lot of people on the internet they think that there is, for the people that think that Kendrick is not able to come out with something or he's scared or he's backtracking, or this is just kind of like on brand for Kendrick. He drops a bomb every couple years and then he runs away. Those people haven't been paying attention enough. That's just, it's simple and plain. These two camps, but especially Kendrick and his camp, are the most calculated people. They're very calculated, and I'm willing to bet they have a plan. They have a plan. Styles make fights, and they're just executing their plan how they see fit. So a lot of people are saying, well, if he don't respond by this date or this date, then I'm labeling it a dub. Well, you go ahead and label it a dub, and that's fine. But I'm here to tell everybody that when Kendrick comes, and he is going to come, when he comes, everybody's going to flock to it, and it's going to be the topic of discussion. So you can say what you want, but we're going to see. And it's rumored, but this is through Maul from the Rory and Maul podcast. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, who has close connections to OVO. He says that it's rumored that Kendrick Lamar is coming out with an album in May, and he may wait to respond to Drake in May. So, that's to be determined. Maybe that is part of their plan. I think they have something way more sinister up their sleeve. Kendrick Lamar has gotten off of TDE with his last album, and he is now with PG Lang, his own company, and it is a multimedia company. Him and Baby Keem and Dave Free. Now with this company, it's not just for music. It's not just a music label. It is a multimedia company, and I just want to kind of throw that out there for people wondering, what could Kendrick been working on? I don't know, maybe a short film. Maybe he has video of certain things, and maybe he wants to premiere in certain ways. Or maybe he'll do it all. I don't know, but I do know something is coming. With that point, I do want to bring up what is going on in the industry, because Kanye West has now made himself, surprise, surprise, Kanye West has now gotten involved. Kanye West released a remix. I thought it was trash. Kanye West has released a remix to the Like That verse. He gets on there and he says, he goes at Cole and Drake. He says that J. Cole's music is making people's pussies dry up, which I thought was funny. And he said that he can't even think of a Drake line. Coming from Kanye, it's kind of sour. It's like, come on, dog. You and Drake just got into a beef 2 years ago, and y'all went back and forth, and you were so obsessed with Drake, dude. You are so obsessed with Drake. For you to say you can't think of a Drake line right now is just it's a full-fledged lie. So Kanye has gotten himself involved, but an interesting comment that he made in there was that Drake has a deal with Lucien Grain. And I made mention of this earlier. Back in 2022, I believe Drake signed a $400 million deal to UMG. And I was paying attention to that deal back then. It was rumored that he owns his masters, but some people disputed that, because Lucien Grain is known to have people in 360 deals. And even if Drake is in a 360 deal with a $400 million advance, he has a lot of leverage in that, because Drake is probably the premier artist in the world. Him and Taylor Swift and Adele and people like that. So I would say that Drake has a lot of favor in his whatever deal he's in. However, he's in a $400 million deal, which I think at the time right now is the largest recorded deal in music history, superseding Michael Jackson, who was the previous holder, and Jay-Z had a big deal before, Prince. But in this, Kanye alludes to Drake having the backing. He called him a rich baby dad. Drake has a rich baby dad in Lucien Grain. And people should, kind of look up Lucien Grain and see kind of what his footing is on the industry. I've always told people Drake is a powerful, powerful entity in the music industry and in the entertainment industry. He has a lot of ties. Some people call them mob ties, and I call them Jew ties. I hope this post don't get flagged for that. I shouldn't have said that. But Drake does have a checkered background, and he comes from a Jewish mother and a black father. So Drake has a lot of ties, I would say, and Kanye is alluding to that. And I also wonder if that's going to be Kendrick's angle. Ross kind of tippy-toed around that, and it's rumored that Kanye says it's the elimination of Drake. And the rap industry is trying to eliminate Drake because, I've also seen little rumors out there that, like from the Joe Budden podcast, he says he knows what people's beef is with Drake and he don't know why they just don't say it. I think everybody's alluding to this Drake's connections within the industry. I've been alluded to that. And we're just waiting for the day that someone is able to put it in a palatable place to get our culture to understand the severity of his foreignness into the rap culture. This is a guy that has been accused of ghostwriting, has ghostwriting allegations, reference track allegations. He's beat all the allegations. Pusha T exposed him for having a kid that he wasn't taking care of, all kind of things. But Drake is like Thanos. I mean, um, you could throw everything you got at him, and he's still coming out clean. So it's going to take a lot to take this guy down. I think it's a very funny angle that he took the 20 what's this, a 20v1 nigga? Because if you look at it, if Kendrick goes at Drake, that's really a 20 versus 1. It's not a discussion that a lot of people would like or care to have, but realistically, that's a 20 versus 1. I mean, even not really, because Kendrick does have a team, and I must give them credit. They have always backed Kendrick, and Kendrick is a big artist, and he was on Interscope. He's now with Universal. And he's had backing by Dr. Dre and Aftermath and Top Dog Entertainment. So Kendrick does have people in his corner. I just kind of was alluding to Drake not only having the industry backings, but he also allegedly has writers. Not just for, and I know there's going to be people in the comments, Drake writes some of, yes, he does write some of his raps and he's written for other people, but it is a documented fact that he has had writers before. He's had people do reference tracks. He's had, I think it's coming out that, I mean, it's been well reported and known that Kanye wrote Find Your Love, but they're rehashing this. Also, they leaked the fact, I think Metro and them leaked the fact that Yachty, a lot of Yachty's friendship, per se, with Drake over the last couple of years have been him giving Drake records. And they leaked the reference track that Yachty created for Jumbotron, Big Shit Poppin' Jumbotron, that was on, I believe, Her Loss. And it's verbatim. So that it's a clear reference track that Drake kind of, inserted himself in and then performed that act. So that's their angle that they're coming at it with. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I don't have no hot takes here. I do think, I'll give you one. I'll give you a hot take. I do think when Kendrick comes outside, he's going to smoke him. But I also think Drake has a plan. Drake has a plan, and if Kendrick doesn't play this right, the angle and the narrative can continue to swing in Drake's favor. And that's Drake's best bet to win the narrative. He's trying to get in front of the narrative like he didn't before the Pusha T thing. That caught him off guard, and I think he has learned his lesson from that. I do think, though, he has to be cautious because if he continues to drop so much, it could get, people could say, okay, slow, like, whoa, hold on, calm down, dude. It's getting a little bit out there. Now, with that, I do want to kind of mention some of the AI that's going around. What a slippery slope we are creating with the AI. There's AI records for both of these parties, Drake and Kendrick, being leaked left and right, to the point where when a diss is out, we don't even know. A lot of the first day's debate is if this is a real record or not. I'm seeing actual hip-hop journalists and blogs pick it up, and they're discussing if the record is AI or not, or some people are falling for it and thinking it's AI. And I think what a terrible, terrible, terrible road to go down, especially in hip-hop. It's a dangerous game. And that's why Drake is at the forefront of some criticism for his record, Tailor Made. In the Tailor Made record, Drake has Tupac rapping and Snoop Dogg rapping. He's used AI for their voice, and then it's a big discussion whether he wrote that verse or not. It sounds like he wrote it, And he came at it from a really creative angle. I thought it was a really unique angle, really creative. The Tupac shit was trash. The Tupac shit was absolute trash. I do not co-sign that one. The Snoop Dogg one was on point. It sounded like Snoop. I like how Drake bounced back and forth with him and called him Unc and those kind of things there. The Tupac thing was completely disrespectful. And Drake, you need your ass whooped for that. That's my hot take. You need your ass whooped for that Tupac shit. I don't deal well with Tupac slander. So, but yeah, I just want your guys' thoughts on where we're headed with the AI thing, because if we're not careful, it could get to such a slippery slope where, Prince has a funny little, not interview, but a message at, I think, I want to say the VMAs or the Soul Train Awards, after he wins an award, and he said, he gets up there and he goes on and on, but he states, and this is in 1999, he goes, get on the internet, but don't let the internet get on you. And that just reminds me of, I think about that a lot, because here we are in 2024 and the internet is all on us. The internet is all on us. It used to be different. You used to have to go home and log into the internet and to escape the real world. Now you have to go somewhere to escape the internet. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a different thing. So I think about that with this AI thing. And, not just in this music space, but, the writing thing. Last year we had a writer strike and an actor strike, and a lot of it was to do with artist rights and the AI copyright infringement and the deals and stuff like that. So we're just at a interesting time as far as the entertainment business goes, and I think we have to be careful on what we allow. And I think Drake was a little bit sloppy in that regard. So yeah, that's that as far as this beef goes. We'll see. It's Monday today. Who knows? DJ Academics tweeted out today that he has some exclusive news coming, so we'll see. There might be another record coming out, or he might be touching on Kanye. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Another thing I wanted to touch on, kind of regarding labels and deals in AI, is the P. Diddy situation. Man, how fast we lose our attention span. P. Diddy was the biggest story in hip-hop for just over a week, and then we were back to the shit. And this is my people for you. We cannot focus for anything. And while on one hand over here, we are focused on this rap beef, which is very entertaining. So I'm with all that shit, and I think it's very entertaining. On the other hand, we are watching, or could be watching, one of the biggest robberies of all time. And I want to preference that. P. Diddy is dead wrong. There's a lot of things P. Diddy has done wrong, and for those things, he does need to go to jail. Especially if it comes out what he's being accused of. However, I do want to just kind of highlight to people the fact that a few years ago, I remember that P. Diddy was assigning publishing and masters back to Bad Boy artists and some of his other artists. Then he proceeded, he did have a back and forth between him and Mace, because Mace was one of the people who said he did not receive his masters back or his publishing back, and he was upset. He said P. Diddy owed him like $2 million, and P. Diddy said, no, you owe me like $3 million. So they had a little spit for spat, and I think they ended up kind of getting something resolved. However, I just want to highlight that to people that is this tied to that? And I know I'm going to get killed, but I just want to make sure that we're not watching. This has happened in history. They have a long history of this. They did this with Michael Jackson. They did this with R. Kelly, and they did this with Bill Cosby, by the way. And I'm not excusing those guys' behavior or actions, and I don't want to go back and forth about that, with anybody. Like I said, any party that's guilty, especially of harming women, children, and even men, especially sexually abusing, they deserve to go to jail. However, the timing is very interesting, and I just want us to keep our eye on that that could we be watching him get robbed blind right before our eyes? Because how they do these things is they smear, they tear down, they assassinate your character first so your own people won't defend you. And then they go in and rob you blind and leave you with nothing. But P. Diddy is at fault for that because you got to watch, the devil hands out trophies too. Satan hands out trophies too. So you got to watch what you get and who you get it from and know that, everything that you get from certain people has a time limit on it. And sometimes that's the deal you make. So maybe he knows that that's the bet he made and he's willing to lay into that. So I just want to continue to keep an eye on that. I'll give more of an update on the P. Diddy situation as it continues and arose. But I'm looking at it with a different kind of eye, especially as it continues to kind of bleed outside of the media and the front page now. But I also thought it was interesting that it did get such big traction. However, I also am old enough to remember that back in December, starting in November, they were rolling out, and they said at the beginning of the year we would get this list for Epstein Island. And we haven't received this list. I mean, they first, at the beginning of the year, kind of released some names with John Doe, and they unclassified some documents on how many times people's names was there and stuff. But they haven't released the list. And, here we are in April, halfway through April, and, we're attacking P. Diddy. And they're accusing him of all types of wild things, the sexual allegations, the sex trafficking thing. And that's all, like I said, lock his ass up too. However, where are these officials and all these other people that was on this list, and where is this list? I would like to know. So that's kind of my take on that for now. I would love to see us get together and continue to demand that list. I think that list needs to come out. Moving on real fast, I just want to touch on also another big topic going on. Come at you, man. Let me tell y'all, election years are always crazy. Y'all remember 2020? Back in 2020, man, we were dealing with race wars and riots and George Floyd and COVID, and then the January 6th situation. So I always kind of say, you got to keep your eye, man, on the devil on the board, man. During these election years, it always seems like it ramps up. So I say that to say the Israel and Hamas war. I want to touch on that briefly. I'm going to have a bigger breakdown coming on the page because I'm going to touch on that, and I'll have a full kind of breakdown and some of the history and kind of where we're going with this. But the Israel and Hamas war has graduated, guys. It has graduated into Israel and Iran war, which is what everybody on both sides feared when this first started. It had less to do with the genocide that's going on in Palestine, or in Gaza, I should say, against the Palestinians, and a lot to do with the war spreading wide. That region cannot afford wide wars. The Middle East is so fickle and it's so volatile that you have to keep those wars and those fires flamed out. And that was what America's job was over the last couple of decades. Donald Trump put in act the Abraham Accords to where he made it clear as day all the countries had to kind of sign a peace treaty and a peace agreement or classify where they stood in the Middle East, because it was always, you had Iraq and Iran and then you had Egypt and Jordan, and so the Abraham Accords kind of cleaned up a lot of things and kind of showed everybody their hand on where they stood. So anyways, October 7th happens. We get Israel and Hamas. Hamas shields themselves in Palestine. That results into Israel invading Palestine, bombing Palestine. The Palestinians are then fleeing. They have fled to different parts of the Middle East. They are now in Rafah. And this is just, I got to speed this up because I don't want to take everybody's time. So they're now in Rafah. That was the red line that the U.S. has given Israel, and the UN has given the red line was in Rafah. So we we keep our eyes off of that because April 1st, I believe, Israel bombs the embassy in Iran, or a little bit outside of Iran, but it was Iran's embassy where they had some top officials and war generals and people like that there. I think one of their people had gotten killed. So then fast forward to April, I want to say 13th. April 13th, we get Iran shooting the 300 missiles famously or infamously over into Israel, which was a crazy scene. And we, at this point, we had never seen Iran in a direct conflict with anybody. They always use their proxies, which is Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. So it was really crazy to see Iran teeing off and claiming the 300 missiles that they shot. So now, just I think 2 days ago, Israel finally responded and they sent drones and missiles over back into Iran. I think 18 people died, I want to say. Correct me if I'm wrong, and 22 people was injured. But I found in this news, and this is what you got to pay attention to. In this news, we found out that where the United States stands. I thought it was genius for Iran. Not genius, but Iran has forced the United States' hands because we have been serving two masters this whole time. On one hand, it is a popular opinion in our country, and there is widespread, riots going on and riots and protests going on. Not riots, I should say protests going on within the country and at college campuses. There's an anti-Israel movement going on, which is it's a popular thing now, but it's not an American stance to take. So with that, it being election year, Joe Biden has now had to kind of reassess his position on this because, it's all a game and he's trying to win these votes so he can be reelected, him and his team. So he has given Netanyahu a red line that he is not to cross over into Rafah and that they need to resolve this conflict soon. On the other hand, we had been sending money over to Israel. We had not stopped giving them money. We funded their defense when the 300 missiles were shot. We funded some of that defense. We had some of our fighter jets and 747s over there and things of that nature. So again, Biden has been pulled out of the closet and exposed because he's serving two masters. I think just as of yesterday, we finally announced that if Israel didn't stop or buy, we're putting sanctions on them, and I think it's going to be passed this week. We're putting sanctions on them, which, hey, Biden's going to have to choose his side of the fence, and we're putting him in such a predicament, especially during election year. It's so hard for him to choose which side of the fence he wants to be on. So I say all that to say, I found out that during this time, the United States told Israel and Bibi Netanyahu that if he did not retaliate in Iran, we would and we would have to verify this. It's horrible reporting on my end, or it's not reporting. I'm just telling you guys what I've seen on the news. Is that if we did not retaliate, or if Iran or Israel did not retaliate to Iran's 300 missile strikes, we would let them invade Rafah, which is crazy to say. That is crazy to say. That is where the Palestinians are. That's their last place that they can go. They're on a border in Rafah, and they are cornered in, and we would let Israel do a ground invasion and drop bombs on the 1.4 million Palestinians that are left. We are watching a complete ethnic cleansing and genocide. They can say that's not what's being done. We are trying to get Hamas. Hamas is shielding themselves against the Palestinians. My rebut is you can't eradicate Hamas, unfortunately. You've done enough damage and you've proved enough points. A two-state solution is not the answer as well. But you will not eradicate Hamas. Hamas is an ideology. It's not a group. It's not just a group. It's not the few people that's left. It's an ideology. And as this war continues, you are actually going to create a bigger group than Hamas. So that's kind of my stance on it for right now. Again, I'm going to have a more detailed breakdown of this situation. I just ask everybody to keep their eye on that, even through our rap civil war and our entertainment industry wars and everything that's going on. There's a bigger war actually going on right now, and a lot of people will tell you. And if you have any kind of sense or eyes, you can see that this could easily lead to a world war. So just everybody keep their eyes and keep posted on that. And we should not allow Israel to invade Rafah. They're planning to invade Rafah. That that needs to be the red line. The UN and other nations need to step in, and I believe that they will step in. Um, Moving on to a more lighter topic here, it's also the start of the NBA playoffs, and I'm a big NBA fan, I have been, and I just kind of want to go through some of the series and kind of give some predictions and kind of talk about it. So to start, we got the Lakers and Nuggets. That's kind of going to be the most premier series going on right now. It's a rematch of the Western Conference Finals of last year, and we're getting that in the first round. So what a treat for us. The Nuggets take game one after the Lakers lead for most of the game. LeBron and Anthony Davis come out and they are on fire. I predicted that the Lakers would win game one because they were riding the momentum of the season, and the Nuggets had won 8 straight games against the Lakers. And I just, just the laws of the universe tell me that has to. I don't see Denver sweeping LA, not only due to talent, but just the laws of the universe. I mean, that would be 12 straight wins against a LeBron James led team. I can't see that. So they play tonight. My prediction is that the Lakers go ahead and tie this series at 1. I'm predicting a big game for Austin Reeves and some of the role players. And I think Anthony Davis also continues to have a big game. I got the Lakers winning this probably like 103-97, somewhere around that ballpark. Celtics and Heat, Jimmy Butler is out with a knee injury, and he missed game one. The Celtics kind of controlled that whole game from start to finish. Jason Tatum played decent. Jaylen Brown played decent. But the Celtics have so many role players and such a good bench and stuff. That's really their bread and butter there. Jason Tatum ended with a triple-double, and I don't see a scenario. I think the Heat might be able to get one game in if Jimmy Butler doesn't come back. But I think that the Celtics get them out of here pretty quick. Magic and Cavs doesn't really entice me much. I liked it from the sense that they let them boys play defense. They let them two teams play defense Saturday that was, and it was a low scoring game, and I kind of missed that. And I actually watched the game, and they was letting them. The refs were swallowing a lot of their whistles. I'll go ahead and say, just from watching it, the Magic looked overmatched. They couldn't hit a shot to save their life. I got the Cavs winning that in maybe 6. Then we got the Timberwolves and Suns, and I'm here to tell y'all, Anthony Edwards is coming. Man, he is a dog. He reminds me of a young Kobe Bryant, a young Russell Westbrook, a young Michael Jordan, just in that ferocity. I mean, he was barking at KD. And on the flip side of that, KD, you gotta get some big girl pants on, man. I am not going to allow you to continue to go under their radar for your lack thereof leadership. You do not present any sort of leadership or will for your teams. You never have. And I think you gotten away with it from Golden State winning those 2 rings and then people claiming that you were the best player. There's more to basketball than what goes on in the court. And I'm here to tell you, Stephen Curry was the best player on that team. Kevin Durant offers no leadership for these teams. He just wants to be plugged and played in and have a bag and score 30 points easily on efficient 11 for 15 shots. That's all good and dandy. He's a damn great player. But there's so much more into winning. You got to look at this like leading the army. And if you got, in basketball, you got 12 other guys following you and stuff. Can you lead 12 other men? So, and I think KD lacks that. So, I got this series could easily go 6 or 7 games, and I'm going. Tonight will be interesting to see who wins, but for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Timberwolves win this in 7 games. let me see. You also got the Pelicans and Thunder. That was a really good game. Pelicans and Thunder was really good. It went to the wire. Again, another low scoring game. It kind of reminded me of the mid 2000s. We got like a score of 90 to 92. Chet Holmgren with a huge block at the end of the game, and then Shea seals the deal with a floater. And Shea has been clutch all year. I don't know what his exact stats are in clutch time that they classify, but I've seen game after game where Shea has closed the deal. So kudos to them. I got the Thunder winning that in 6. Zion's out again. Speaking of being out, Kawhi Leonard, you are a thief. You're a thief. You're a thief. And you owe fans money, and you owe that organization money back. How are you hurt again? You've been healthy all damn year. You've been healthy all year long. You've been doing good. I've complimented you all year. And then here we are, the start of the playoffs, and you're a no-show. Game 1 again. It's almost a damn joke. And if it's not a joke, and if you're really, really hurt, you need to go to your nearest local church, hit that floor, and repent. Because there's something you have done to cause the timing of this, again, you can't make it up. How are you hurt at the beginning of the playoffs again? Say all that to say, Clippers in 6. Then we have, let's see, there's some series I'm missing here. Let me see what other series I am missing here. Sixers, how can I miss this? Sixers and Knicks. Joel Embiid. Oh my goodness, man. We need these old school coaches, man. Joel Embiid should be on the block every possession, guys. He should not be on the perimeter. And I don't say this to say I don't like center shooting threes. Joel Embiid's body is not designed for him to be moving around left to right laterally like that. He goes into the game and he's balling out. And the Sixers are balling out. And they're up. They got a lead. Joel Embiid proceeds to throw it off the backboard on a nasty move. I mean, he lobs it off the backboard, catches it, and dunks. And he hurts his knee, re-injures his knee. That had him out for 3 months. Joel Embiid, play smart. Play smart. You're too big. You do not even have to do any of that. They cannot stop you. No one has figured out that equation. Play smart and play efficient. Preserve your energy. Get your ass on the block and play in and out basketball, just like they did in the old school, man. You don't need to be on the 3-pointers crossing over. That exhorts too much of your energy. Then you get to tripping over people. You big klutz. So stop that. I got the Sixers winning that in 6 or 7. I got the Sixers actually going to the NBA Finals if Joel Embiid stays healthy. That is my asterisk by that. I got the Sixers in the finals. I've had them in the finals even through his injury. If Joel Embiid stays healthy, I see it. I see him. I don't necessarily see them winning the finals, but I see him getting to the finals and finally trying to get over that hump. Those are my predictions for a little bit now. Again, it's a condensed video. I just kind of touched on different things briefly. I'll have more in-depth video, especially from the sense of the war going on in Gaza. I kind of want to break that down more in depth for you guys, and also the rap situation. I'm a big fan of rap, and I would love to see how this plays out. So I want to detail that out more for you guys. Separate videos. Please also leave a comment on what if there's something else you guys would like me to touch on, especially that I've talked about here, the Diddy situation, the AI situation, the label wars that might be going on situation. Comment what you guys would like for me to touch on in a detailed video. Leave a comment below. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is Lord of Lips. This is episode 1 of the new rundown. I am your host, Lord of Lips, and I am out. Peace.